Today I'm doing the cleaning of the dashboard and the knee cover, knee bolster or something, whatever that, I don't know how to call that piece. That piece sits right below the passenger side airbag. So I'm clean all that stuff, clean the brackets, clean the under the dashboard there behind where sun doesn't shine. The center console is next. I'm cleaning the insulation mats. They're drying up right now. So yeah, so I want to put these in today, and I want to drop the dashboard cover back in there because it's extremely annoying. It's a large piece, and since it's not there, it has to go back. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. There are a bunch of plastic trims that broke, of course, because they're old and not nice. So I'm gonna have to glue a bunch of those things. The dashboard centerpiece needs a couple of spots glued up, and yeah, so that's the agenda. I have to still steam this. I haven't steamed this area, and I'm going to wipe down this area and steam it up. SRS module was removed, so I can get under and clean all of these areas up well, and then the cover can finally go back in. But before it goes in, obviously I have to put those insulation mats back on, and there's one here and couple on the on the other side. Those are the pieces that hold the mat, so the mat remains in place. And then the dashboard, well, organize the wires, of course, and then the dashboard can go back in. Well, that's the agenda for today. Center console, I don't know, maybe I'll have time today to do this, maybe not. I'll go with the flow and see what happens. Maybe I'll clean this piece up once more, since I have all my cleaning supplies here. And that's, yeah, probably hit it once more, why not? Even brackets I'm clean because there's some some spots on some. All right, so hopefully I'll get the dashboard in today and get this major kind of situation taken care of. And also the secondary drain is installed. It's right there. That rubber hoses are the right passenger side drain, because I had the car oriented differently. Now I switched it around so I can open this door wide open, passenger door wide open, so I can get to the drain. Obviously, oh, look at that, I just noticed that little thing is supposed to be clicked in there. Yeah, all right, that little pipe that has to click in, and there it goes. Now, because in that area you never get to that anytime soon, obviously. So it's good to make sure everything's in place. These zip ties were like somehow left from factory uncut, so I'm gonna cut pretty much most of them, because these things hanging like this, what's going on here? I don't like that. I cut all my zip tie ends because you just work around that area. God forbid you just that zip tie sticks you in the eye because you're moving around, and that's just safety concern, even unless you work in goggles. But I'll rather cut it. Whatever, it takes a few seconds. Cut them all. All right, moving along. All right, so it's coming down to the end of the day and after all these hours I finally got the dashboard cleaned up. That is done. Now the sound deadeners, the insulators, I don't even know how to call them, cloths, mats, pads, whatever the name would be, is that they were dirty, so I just sprayed it with some silver paint over, just to make them look a little better, because I cleaned them but there was still some stains on them. So these things will never be visible regardless, but I still wanted to spray them over a little bit. So those are installed. All right, that's good. Center console here is also cleaned up, so nice and clean here, vacuumed, and pieces put back together, what have you, because my agenda for today is again to put the dashboard back in place, because I need to have it in the car in its place versus being on the seat and I have to pull it out all the time to move the vehicle. So now some areas right there, there's a crack developing, so I glue that over, baking soda, crazy glue, what have you. All right, there was another one here, so that's also glued. Now flipping it over. Now in this department, the same situation happened here. There was a big crack development because this is a metal dash. This whole thing is all metal except for the centerpiece and vents. Everything else is metal, so nothing will happen to it except for plastics here, which is it's upsetting because they could have made, the Mercedes could have made this metal, I guess, and it would have been forever, but it's plastic, so what am I supposed to do, you know? So anyway, because the plastic deteriorates over years, obviously I had to reglue certain areas. So this is the crack that was also glued in, this one glued in, and I also sprayed a little bit of paint over the areas where there was some, well, a couple of sprays, you know, like in here, and a little bit over here in this cavity here. There was some little rust spots here and there. Surface rust, of course, is just nothing serious, but still, nonetheless, dashboard is off, cover is off, so mine as well. And then over here there was the big chunk of plastic missing. There are other pieces of plastics missing, but I'll deal with them later. But I just made a little bracket here to hold this piece, and now, I mean, I can lift the whole thing all, you know, by just this piece, the frame for the pocket, center pocket and center vents. So yeah, because I made this bracket here just to secure it. Now, like I said, the agenda for today was to install this back in the vehicle, and I will do it before the sun is all down. Obviously nothing else will go in, just the dashboard cover. The wires are pretty much seem to be all ready. I went through them, they seem to be all good to go. All I need to do is just put the dash in. Airbag bracket is gonna go in later, and the knee bolster here that I had out. Now it looks kind of ugly, if you will. Yes, it does, because I pressure washed it, and because I didn't realize that there was styrofoam behind, and it just took some chunks out. So it kind of looked very hideous. I just like sprayed it with silver, just the same color as the sound deadening mats or pads or what have you. This thing cleaned off quite well. So, but I think I'm going to install it later. I just want to first put the dashboard in, see what's going on, and then I can put this bolster back in. It's still kind of like slightly damped. It's not wet already because it's been out in the sun all day, but slightly damped. I can feel it when I run my hand over, like I feel the little dampness. So I would like let it sit out, let it air out, and then I can put it back in. So yeah, this is basically the end of the day for today. Well, by the way, this was cut as from the factory. This is very weird because, well, this is old school ways how they did things, you know. It's just, it is what it is. What can I say? But I do want to put the dash in and the cover in, so I don't have to move it in and out the car when I get inside. There are some bunch of other pieces, of course. There are some trims. There is this piece right here. So I guess during the manufacturing process, the seal was damaged here. There is a number, I'm not sure. Maybe I'll get another seal, maybe I'll salvage this seal, because you can see that these bolts were quite over tightened, and this is the cowl that goes under the hood, right? So this is the piece that collects all the water that gets off the windshield, and at least center portion of the windshield, and it just collects it and drains it out via these drains, so no water gets inside the vehicle. So, and these are recycled flaps here we have. So, but this seal, it's, you know, I don't know, I mean, it's like everything you touch on the car of this vintage, there's gonna be always something. And I don't know if I can salvage this, maybe if I heat it up well, but it's been in this shape for like so many years. I don't think it's going to reshape backwards to original shape. The same here, like you see, these bolts were over tightened because it appears that there is metal behind plastic or something like that. And well, anyway, that's the cowl situation. I'm not worried about this. First things first, dashboard goes in. I can even drop the cowl in just to collect some water, but there are no rains in forecast, so I can do it. And this piece I also cleaned once more. It's drying up right now. This is the piece that goes on the passenger side by the door jamb over there. So since I have all my things here, the vacuum, this is what I collected for today. Yes, that's what you get. This is the water that I collected for today, and it's almost full. Just clean things up. And that's not the first canister I'm emptying out, because this is just the way it is. 30-year-old car, I mean, this is what you get. If you want to do it right, this is what you gotta do. All right, so for today, this is gonna be final for today for sure. Dark already. Dashboard cover is back in place. I don't know if camera picks it up, but it's in there. All right, I just dropped the cluster in there so I can see, see the cluster. So that's in there for now. Just dropped in like not permanently, temporarily, a few bolts to hold the dashboard cover, but it's already nice and tight. Still have to deal with the area on the passenger side and all the wires and whatever, but I would rather leave it like that. So all the glue sets and everything, center console to be washed, and before I put it back in, wash it away, so that's the way to do it. So today, this is it. This is the last one for today, and I gotta eat something. Had no lunch today, so yeah. The cowl is probably what I'm gonna put in tomorrow. I'm still debating on the seal. Hopefully I'll get something done with the seal. We'll see, because that's important to do. I can't just like put the cowl in there without the seal to cover the area under the windshield, because all of this stuff is just laying there. I know it's a dark video, but I guess I'm gonna call it a day for today. All right, so coming along, waiting for the receiver dryer, high pressure switch, low pressure switch. Both of them I'll replace regardless, just because no need to experiment. Just replace both, along with the receiver dryer and other bolsters and whatnot. Those are still, the paint is still drying, so we're going to wait until tomorrow for sure. That just makes more sense. So I'm gonna close the roof now, because another project will be is to replace the canvas, and that's gonna be further down the line. Right now, that is of an essence. This is the important work right now, so that has to be done. All right, so this is finally it for today. Victor here, restoringmercedes.com. Thank you for watching.